Lily, Madwhip, must die. Chapter 14, 1600 Fahrenheit. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being touching a hot car on a sunny day, and 10 being falling into the sun, I'd put having something burst into flames in my hand at probably a 4. I think 4 is reasonable. I mean, we're not talking about blistering heat that roasts your meat black. We're talking about a little blue cat doll just catching fire and enveloping your hand up to the wrist in white hot angel fire. I think anyone's first instinct when something they're holding bursts into flames is to drop or throw the item. Since I am anyone, I naturally throw the doll with a squeal that turns heads. It hits the side of the closest tent and tumbles down it, paw over whisker. It leaves a trail of little fires behind it. These don't just sizzle and go out, they get bigger. Did I mention the smoke? There's black smoke billowing out of the doll like it's one of those funny fireworks that does nothing but make smoke. It doesn't move like smoke, though. Smoke just goes up where I guess it gets sucked out into space or something. This smoke swirls around in a ropey fashion, like a snake. Meredith? I say to the smoke snake. Is that you? The smoke snake does not respond. Instead, one of the teenagers shouts, "Fire!" and throws a cup of soda at the side of the tent that's burning incredibly quickly. They all scatter. Soda is apparently not an effective fire extinguisher. The flames just sizzle and then swallow more of the tent. I decide not to stick around. If you're Meredith, follow me, I tell the smoke snake, and then turn to run for the busy section of the carnival. I don't make it more than 2 steps before one of the bigger teenagers grabs me by the shoulder. He's a lanky boy with black hair and one of those I want to look grown up half mustaches that you almost wonder if you can just rip it right off his face. He's wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt. I bet Roger and this kid would have been best buds or bitter rivals if Roger hadn't gotten turned into mashed potatoes. Hey, this girl started a fire, he yells to nobody in particular. A girl with really short-cut bleached blonde hair and one of those nose stud things runs over and gets right in my face. "Let her go, Johnny," she snaps at the boy holding me. I'm surprised because I thought from her expression that she was going to headbutt me in the face and knock me out or something. She's pretty badass in my book. She looks me in the eyes with something I'm not familiar with. Is that respect? Johnny lets go of me. "That thing's gonna burn the whole carnival down," the girl yells. She sounds pleased. She's even got a big grin on her face as she watches the fire on the tent rise upward. "Well, I'm not sticking around to watch, babe," says Johnny, and he takes off between 2 trailers across the way. There's already shouts rising over the sound of the crackling fire. I hear someone yell the word fire, and the sentence, "Grab an extinguisher," just over the tent where the main thoroughfare probably is. Some woman screams, and a kid starts crying. Oh God, I've gone and killed everybody, haven't I? The entire carnival is going to burn to the ground, and everybody's probably panicking and stampeding for the exits. Then the screaming lady lets out a big burst of laughter, and I realize nobody on the other side of the tent is even aware of what's going on over here yet. "Come on!" The blonde girl pulls on my sleeve. I stumble over my own feet and fall to the ground. She doesn't stick around to help me up. Instead, she takes off after her friend Johnny, doing some sort of twirly dance in the process as she runs away into the dark. I start to get up from the dirt when I notice dark liquid running out from under me. It's blood. It's all over my shirt. I'm a sopping wet red mess. Also, the cow pitcher is shattered. I must have fallen right on it, and it broke, and I got Nate's blood all over myself. How am I ever going to explain this to that angry man I borrowed it from? "What's going on?" asks Pashar. I'm getting only bits and pieces. "There's a fire, smoke, snakes, blood. Are you injured?" Actually, now that he's asked, there is a big piece of the cow pitcher sticking through my bloody shirt down in my tummy area. I pull on the end of it. There's a nasty burning sensation, so I stop pulling. I've gone and stabbed myself with a cow pitcher. Is any of this blood mine? I've spilled Nate's blood all over myself. Don't rub it in your eyes. I wasn't going to rub it in my eyes. It's not like I'm tired or anything. My cousin Susie used to rub her eyes a lot, but that was because she had really bad allergies. Her eyes were always bloodshot. Susie's worst allergy was boat propellers, though. She was deathly allergic to those. After her accident, my Uncle George developed really bad allergies too. I could tell because his eyes were always bloodshot. Someone nearby yells, "Over here!" and a pair of men run up with big red fire extinguishers. They start spraying the white foamy stuff at the side of the tent. At first, it doesn't look like the foam is going to stop the flames, but after a minute of spraying and one of the extinguishers running out of juice, the fire hisses and goes out. The man holding the used up fire extinguisher looks at the big, black, scorched portion of tent, then down and at the crispy little cat doll on the ground. Then he turns and looks at the claw machine. The machine blinks its lights like it's saying hello to him. The man finally looks over at me, laying in a small pool of warm blood. It's the man with orange hair, who passed by earlier, that I hid from. "Look what we got here," he says with a funny accent. I think it's Irish, but it might be Scottish. I'm not an expert on accents. Everything I know about accents, I learned from this movie. I watched with my dad about a Scottish guy who was immortal, and he killed other immortal people by chopping their heads off with a giant sword. Well, that and Mary Poppins. The other man sets down his fire extinguisher and turns around. He's a beefy guy wearing a huge coat with lots of pockets and a floppy-looking cowboy hat. "Who's that, Jin?" he asks in a non-accent voice. "Get up, girlie." The man named Jin reaches down and grabs me by my collar. He pulls me halfway up to standing on my own 2 feet. In the process, the piece of cow pitcher that has punctured me in the tummy area shifts and causes more of that intense burning feeling I got when I tried to pull it out. "Ow!" I yell, hoping he gets the hint and lets go of me. He doesn't. Then I notice that the snaky trail of black smoke is circling his head like a creepy halo. I don't think he or the other man can see it because if either of them could, they'd surely be freaking out and trying to wave it away. "This," Jin says, with one of those half-smile smirks that shows the canine tooth on the left side of his mouth, "is who Clay was looking for." The black smoke snake hunches back like it's about to strike at the back of Jin's head. Then it lunges forward and splashes like a wave against him, going in all directions. A moment later, it recollects itself into a cloudy form and swirls angrily around him, like a swarm of bees dealing with Winnie the Pooh. Jin pulls me the rest of the way to my feet. This is good because I aim to kick him in his testicles, and I couldn't do that lying down. As soon as I've got my footing, I pull back, swinging my foot out behind me, at which point he brings his big adult fist into the equation by punching me hard in the guts. The pain is so intense I feel like I'm going to puke. Even worse, there's a really sharp stinging sensation, and then a wet kind of warmth. No, I didn't pee myself. Jin himself winces in pain as he pulls his fist back to reveal the piece of broken cow pitcher stabbed right up between his knuckles. He lets go of me so he can pull it out, and I take the opportunity to drop to my knees and double over, clutching where he hit me. "Word of advice to you, lass," says Jin as he flicks the pitcher piece away. "Don't broadcast your intention to kick a man in the quongs. If you don't want to get punched in the ovaries." I'm too busy rubbing my face in the wet grass to respond, but I'm thinking about how annoying this thing with saying what I'm thinking is, and I wish I could stop doing it because it really makes fighting bad guys difficult. I wonder if I just said that thought, but judging from Jin putting his boot on the back of my head, I'm guessing not. Bleh, the grass is warm and tastes like ozone. I realize I'm getting Nate's blood on me. Pashkar said to not get it in my eyes. "What is she? Like 10 years old?" I hear the other man say. "What about this brat's got Clay so spooked? You could knock her over with a wet fart." "Thanks for that visual, sir." Jin lifts his boot off my head. I take the opportunity to get my face out of the bloody grass and wipe it off my mouth. I can't tell how much is on my face. She killed his kid or something, he remarks casually. Burned him alive. He pauses. I look up. He's looking at the scorched tent. Seems like she's got a penchant for fire. Maybe we ought to give her a feel of what it's like to get burned before we bring her to Clay. What do you say? I cough up some dirt I didn't realize was in the back of my throat. I didn't kill Joey. Jin wanders a few steps away and the other man comes over and puts a hand under my armpit. He helps me up in a far gentler manner than Jin did. I don't think about kicking him in the testicles and I don't plan to. The two men share a brief look and I worry for a second that I just said all that. She's got blood all over her, the big other guy says, letting go of me and wiping his hands off on his dark jacket. I don't give a rat's ass if she's got shit and puke on her. Jin lights up a cigarette and takes a long drag on it. He looks at me like a kid with a magnifying glass looks at an ant. He blows out a small cloud of stinky smoke. I wonder if he can make smoke rings. Give me her arm. Nothing good ever started with someone saying, give me her arm. I instinctively start to pull away, but the big guy puts his hand under my armpit again and moves me away from Jin, twirling me around so he's between the two of us like a big wall. I've had enough of this. I'm not letting you put a cigarette out on a little girl. What the hell is wrong with you, man? I put my free arm around his waist and give him as much of a hug as I can. Thank you, mister. Whoever you are. Jin casually gestures toward the blackened tent flap and scorched patch of ground where the remains of my precious Freddie lapel doll sizzles with otherworldly heat. Look what she did, Dutch. She tried to burn down the whole carnival. Could have hurt somebody. Could have killed somebody. He looks directly at me. Again. Dutch's thumb digs into my armpit, but not so hard that it hurts. He smells like he had bacon recently, and he works on machinery or something, because there's a distinct scent of motor oil on his clothes. I wonder if he knows Mr. Grizz. But thankfully nobody did get hurt, and I don't know the full story between her and Clay, if there even is one. All I know is a grown-ass Irish prick is telling me to let him put a lit cigarette on a 10-year-old girl covered in blood, and I ain't about to be the guy that lets that happen. I'm 12, actually, I tell Dutch. He doesn't hear or just ignores me. The orange-haired creep named Jin takes another drag on his cigarette. I watch the end of it burn away between his fingers. Then he casually lifts one leg and puts it out on the underside of his boot. He flicks the butt away and then crosses his arms and stares at me, hiding behind Dutch. If there was a clock, we could hear it ticking away, but there's no clock. Instead, there's just the hoots and hollers of people having a grand old time at the carnival. After what seems like 5 minutes of just hard, quiet staring at each other like one of those Mexican standoffs in a Clint Eastwood Western movie. My dad used to love to watch Clint Eastwood movies. His favorite was called High Plains Drifter. I just watched for the horses. Oh, right. Like I was saying, after 5 minutes of that staring, Jin shrugs like he didn't just step on the head of a little girl and then try to put a cigarette out on her. I'm fetching Clay. He lingers for a moment, glaring at both of us, and then storms off in a hurried manner, really working his arms into it. Dutch's grip on my pit loosens. I stop hugging him and move away a step. He looks down at me. I can't figure out what thoughts are going through his head. His expression seems like a jumble of worry and upset, and even a little fear. He's gotten all sweaty. He wipes it away with his sleeve and takes a rough breath. Thank you, Mr. Dutch, I tell him. He nods silently. I check my pokey stab wound from the cow pitcher. It's not leaking profusely, but there's blood and mud caked on my shirt and it's sticking to me. I hope I don't get a mud infection. I wish I better understood where germs come from. There's blood all over my hands, but I don't know if it's mine or Nate's. I'm taking you to the front entrance, and we're calling the police. Dutch tells me. I almost forgot about the cloud of smoke. It is lazily drifting over Dutch's head now, like a little black rain cloud. It moves unnaturally, not drifting away or dispersing in any way. Just a little black rain cloud over the man's floppy hat. We walk away from the burned tent and the claw machine in the opposite direction from the one that Jin went. A noise behind us makes me look back. A blonde woman, with an apron covered with pockets, from which prize tickets hang out all over, comes out of a nearby booth alley and sees the mess I caused. She immediately zeroes in on Dutch and I walking away together. Oi! Dutch! She calls out. What the hell happened here? I'm dealing with it, Susie, he tells her. He puts his hand on my arm as if to show that he's got the perpetrator and is handling the situation. I look up at him. My cousin's name is Susie. I don't know why I feel the need to mention that. My brain is kind of doing a reset at the moment as I try to figure out what I need to do, and if that cloud is indeed Meredith's soul like I think it is. Mr. Dutch glances down at me and starts leading me away again. Is that so? My uncle ran her over with a, motorboat. He frowns and looks away. Oh, I realize I could have worded that better. By accident. Pashkar chimes in. That's probably not the best topic to be bringing up right now, Lily. Mr. Dutch seems to agree with Pashkar. Let's just get you to the ticket booths, all right? Quiet like, ahead of us, the back alleyway of tent flaps and old, unused arcade machines opens up to the main thoroughfare. I knew it was right there. I can see normal people, mostly adults because it's so freaking late and kids have got school tomorrow. But the carnival is in town, so some parents brought their kids because some things are more important than school, like fishing for little ducks with magnets on the end of a fishing line so you can get a 10-cent knick-knack for the price of a couple quarters. Or shooting water in a hippo's mouth and watching a balloon fill up from out its butt, and whoever pops the hippo's butt balloon wins a prize, which is usually just a bunch of tickets, like the ones that lady had falling out of her apron pockets. The little black cloud follows us, keeping just above Dutch's head. I wonder if it intends to drop on him, like an anvil, in a Wile E. Coyote cartoon. Right before we reach the thoroughfare, full of laughing, smiling people, I hear something. Fast approaching footsteps. They're not speed walking. This is more like a jumbling hustle of several feet moving swiftly, but trying to be quiet. Oh crap. It's Gin and Clay. They're going to burn me with cigarettes, or rub deodorant on my wounds and stab me and light me on fire, and there's a hard sound right next to me, followed immediately by a loud grunt like, ugh, but I can't do it justice with words. It's like the sound someone would make if they bang their elbow on the edge of a metal desk right where their funny bone is, like right between the elbow joint bones, you know? Why does that hurt so bad? I think the person who named it the funny bone never hit the corner of a metal desk there. It's the least funny bone in your body, or second at least to the coccyx. That's the little tail end of your spine. Yeah, we got tails. Humans got tails. They're hidden though, tucked away in the butt area. Dutch lets go of my arm. I turn to look at him. There's a foot with a sneaker on it sticking out from between his legs. Just as quickly as I see it, it disappears. Mr. Dutch is the one making the pain sound. He reaches down and clutches his crotch, and his knees give out, and he falls forward. Someone kicked this poor man in the testicles. The foot belongs to the girl with the short, bleached blonde hair. She stands over the large, crumpled form of Dutch and looks at me with a triumphant grin. Bleep the authority, she shouts and pumps her fist in the air. She's wearing like a dozen rings on the one hand. How can she fit so many rings on such stubby fingers? Let's go, she yells in my face, even though I'm right there next to her. Her friend Johnny is with her. He's looking around anxiously. Yeah, let's get out of here already. I'm flabbergasted. But Mr. Dutch was a good guy. I try to tell the two of them. They're completely enthralled by their own sense of pride in a job well done, saving the little bloody girl from the big man at the traveling carnival. Mr. Dutch is groaning in severe testicle-kicked pain. I reach down to try to help him, and the blonde girl grabs my wrist. "What are you doing?" She asks me through a smile that says she doesn't even really care what my answer is. "We're rescuing you." Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's hoof it. I feel like that's one too many horse-themed expressions in a single statement, but I don't say anything. And not just that, there's like 12 too many people getting involved in my problems lately. I'm not a complete idiot. I know well what happens to people around me. My whole family is dead. My best friend is probably a little black cloud that's doing some sort of weird interpretive dance over the crumpled form of poor Dutch with the swollen balls. People get hurt around me. Hell, poor Dutch can attest to that at the moment. People die around me. People get torn apart by skinless dogs that form out of fungus that used to be old ladies, and I can't believe that's even an actual thing I saw. I saw that. That happened. I take the girl's hand and remove it from my arm. "Look, I don't know you or Johnny, and you both seem really nice, but you need to get out of here before you get hurt. I'll be okay." Mr. Dutch was taking me to get help. The bad people are coming, and they like to smoke. They've got an angel of death tied up somewhere, and there's someone much, much worse who could show up any time. I think I lost them both somewhere around the part about that creep Jin being a smoker. The boy Johnny does another anxious look around the area. Then he grabs the girl's arm. "Nance, let's just go. I didn't come here to get murdered by some whacked out carny cult." The girl, Nance, drops her arm and shakes her head at me. She starts to open her mouth to say something, then crumples it up into a little mouth and turns and trots away after Johnny. I watch them go. I don't know who they were, but I hope they get far, far away. The curse of getting involved in my life has a long reach and is unforgiving. After they leave, I kneel down and pat Mr. Dutch on the back. "All you all right, Mr. Dutch?" I ask him. He mutters something I can't understand because he's got his face shoved into the ground. "You're not cursed, Lily," Pashar comments. "Then why do bad things always happen to people around me?" "Because your gift is chaotic," I hear me say. Except, I didn't say it. Not me anyway. Pashar whispers, "Oh no." I feel the presence of another person standing right behind me. Unlike Nance and Johnny, this person didn't make a sound. It was as if they rose up out of the ground or descended from the sky as silent as a feather touching a pillow. My whole body tenses up. That sounds impossible, but it totally is possible, and it's incredibly uncomfortable. Don't question it. I turn around slowly, first at the neck, then the shoulder, finally at the waist. Why am I dragging this out? Because I don't want to look behind me at the person, because I know exactly who it is, and I really don't feel like peeing my pants right now. Or ever. But especially now. For a second, I think I'm just looking in a mirror because I see my own face, except my actual face probably has more blood on it currently, but less blood everywhere else. Samael smiles at me. "You got here ahead of me." He looks at my clothes and then tilts his head and examines my face, and from the looks of it, you've had one hell of a time. "Who did this to you? Was it him?" He points at Mr. Dutch, who has finally rolled over onto his back and is staring up at the starry night sky with teary eyes and a really red face. "This isn't my blood," I tell him. He grins. "But this is." He gestures at himself. "Don't pee, Lily. Don't pee." Peshar raises his voice. "Sam, please, you've got to come back. You're unwell." "Really? Did you really think that's going to work?" That's me talking. Actual me, not Smael. "You can't appeal to crazy. I mean, come on. You've got to have something to back your words up with. When in the history of ever has someone been on the verge of destroying a small carnival and someone else said, 'Don't do it,' and they were like, 'Oh, okay.' Never." "She's right," Samael says, nodding and raising an eyebrow. "Hey, I can't do that." I try to raise one eyebrow, but I just end up raising both. So I stop and try again. But then I stop completely before it looks like I'm wiggling my eyebrows at him. He stares at me blankly for a moment after, then blinks a couple times and shakes his head. Mr. Dutch rolls over and gets up onto his hands and knees. He lets out a big breath, then sits up and tilts his head back to look at Samael and me together. There's a moment where he seems to accept what he's seeing, but then he clenches his eyes shut, reopens them, cranes his neck forward, and looks back and forth between us. "Don't hurt him," says Pashkar. Samael smirks. It's starting to feel surreal to see myself making faces when I can feel that I'm not. Also, everything's slightly off because I'm looking at my actual face and not a mirror reflection of it. "I'm not here for Mr. Dutch," says Samael. "I'm here for the rune maker. Remember? I'm here for Felix Clay, Lillian Alexandra Madwhip," someone shouts from the direction Mr. Dutch and I just walked away from, as if he was just waiting in the shadows, which he probably was because it's such a Felix thing to do. Felix freaking Clay steps from seemingly out of nowhere and stands about 10 yards down the alleyway from us, behind Samael. Beside him is his orange-haired friend Jin, smoking another cigarette from the looks of the little glow I can see in his hand. I should have smelled him coming. They're a little ways off, but I can see them both pretty clearly, and Felix isn't smiling. It occurs to me that he always smiled before, even when he was doing things that shouldn't have made him happy. It's like his smile is a mask he hides behind. But not now. Now he looks angry and annoyed. And why is he holding that hammer? He's not even holding it right. He's got the claw side down. He can't hammer a nail that way, unless his arms work backward. "You came for me and here I am," Felix yells at us. "But I told you not to come back." So now, he and his Irish buddy, Mr. Jin, start marching toward us with very purposeful strides, and I can't understand what he's saying after the "so now" part. Mr. Jin pulls something I can't see out of his coat and holds it close at his side. No doubt it's a weapon. I just don't know if it's a stabby weapon, or a shooty weapon, or what. Samael doesn't look at them. He's focused on me. He's smiling. His hands are clenched at his sides, and I remember well that there's a rune on one that lets him punch through people like they're made of Play-Doh. As for me, I'm torn. Do I warn Felix that Samael can karate chop him into bits like some sort of bad horror movie? Or do I watch this play out? Maybe I should take this opportunity to just run. I mean, I can't win against any of these people. Who am I? I'm a knife that cuts the veil, that's dulled by the runes, all over the carnival grounds. While I stand there lost in that thought, Samael reaches forward and pokes me in the forehead. He starts moving his finger around. I just stand there and stare at him, waiting for him to jab a hole right through my head. "Don't pee, Lily. Don't pee." What the heck is he doing? "There," he whispers to me, "finishing whatever it is. That should keep you safe. Just don't smear it, or your head might explode." As soon as he lifts his finger away, I can feel it. That tension I had that I mentioned early was all through my body. It just vanishes. I almost go completely slack, in fact, but manage to hold myself up. Then comes a wave of warmth starting at the spot on my forehead that he last touched and encompassing my entire head, traveling down my neck, across my chest, down both arms at the same time, through my midsection, and then hips, legs, ending at the tips of my toes. The pain in my abdomen that I had actually forgotten about also vanishes. I reach into the hole in my shirt to feel the wound. It's still there, and I feel my fingertip actually go inside the stabby hole for a second before I realize I'm still hurt. I just can't feel it anymore. "Who's your little friend?" Felix and Jin have finally reached us. Jin looks smugly at me, still holding his hand by his side. Samael turns to face them finally, and Jin's smug look is replaced with one of confusion. Felix stops mid-stride and even takes a step back. He also has a confused expression on his face. I don't need to see Samael's face to know he's got the biggest grin on it right now. "My name is Lily Madwhip,"